Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome you to this special Pirates of Pugmire one-shot. Today, we are going to be testing out some of the new rules in the expansion for Realms of Pugmire, Pirates of Pugmire, which is currently on Kickstarter. It's a lot of fun. It's Dungeons and Dragons and dogs and cats and the open acid sea. What more could one ask for? And today I am joined by wonderful, beautiful, amazing players. So we're going to go in the order by which I see you on my chat screen. Unfortunately, I don't have the overlay set up right now, so apologies if this is confusing to the audience at home. Watch their faces. That's why we're recording the video. We'll go ahead and start with Jess. Why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, your pronouns, and who you are playing, please.
Hello, I'm Jess. My pronouns are she, her. I am an editor and writer and sometimes teacher. And I am playing Viole, whose name I just changed to Viole. And she is a lizard alchemist?
Nice.
Alkalist.
Alkalist.
A lizard alkalist. She looks like an eastern coral snake.
Beautiful. Love it. Next up, Rachel, tell us who you are, what you do, your pronouns, and who you're playing, please.
Hello, I am playing Miss Ginger, the wandering cat. We both use she, her pronouns. I am a game writer and editor and general freelancer in Los Angeles. I think that's it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Josh. Tell us who you are, what you do, your pronouns, and who you're playing, please.
Hi, I'm Josh, pronouns he, him, and I'm playing Jack Silverstrings. He's a parrot, palm cockatoo, rhymer, 8-string occultist, and ne'er-do-well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Dixie, please tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, and your thoughts on Pirates of Pugmire. I want you to, your connection to this beautiful, wonderful book that we're sharing with the world today.
Yeah, hi, I'm Dixie Cochran. I'm one of the in-house developers at Onyx Path Publishing. So we produce Pugmire, Monarchies of Mao in conjunction with Eddie Webb's company, Pugsteady. It is a creator-owned thing, so Eddie owns it, but we, do the production on it. So I've actually edited all the Pugmire core books so far, which is super exciting. I also wrote on Pirates of Pugmire. It's my first big published writing project for Onyx Path, so I'm super excited to get to play this. I am playing Vashti, who is a Sphinx mystic, one of the new callings for Pirates of Pugmire, and my and Vashti's pronouns are both she, her. I'm so excited.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm very, very excited too. This is awesome, and I'm stoked. And last but most definitely not least at all, Celeste, let us know who you are, what you do, your pronouns, and who you're playing, please.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Celeste Connor. I am a podcaster and streamer. I'm the Dungeon Master for the Venture Maidens podcast, which is an actual play D&D 5th edition podcast, as well as running the stream show Mistress of Modules, which is also a D&D show. Like a lot of D&D, I'm also one of the co-hosts for Wizards of the Coast Community, which is a monthly talk show over there on that channel, and pronoun she, her. And today I will be playing Brandy Dox, who is he, him for pronouns. I am a gun dog, which sounds amazing, and I can't wait to see what happens with that. Super excited. This looks like the best game in the world. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm stoked.
Thank you for joining us. And as I said before, I think I'm Travis Legg. I'm the Dungeon Master. I also did a little bit of writing on Pirates of Pugmire, which has been a blast. I've loved working on this book. I love playing in this world. It's huge. Show of hands, who's new to Pugmire here? So almost everybody except those of us that worked on it, and Josh, who plays everything. So
I fully intend to play more of this just based on the art and everything I'm seeing in this book alone. I'm sad that I've existed my whole life without knowing what this game is.
I mean,
It is.
talk about Ninja Cats and
Yeah, the artwork's worth it alone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
absolutely.
I was actually in the upcoming, I think soon upcoming Pugmire anthology, the Tales of Good Dogs coming out.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that's
Eddie let me inject a little horror into Pugmire.
I can't wait to edit that.
Yes.
We'll talk about like things I've tried to sneak past Eddie at some point, not in front of the entire internet. But at least one of them will make their way into this adventure. So they gave me a platform. It's going to happen.
I'm still surprised at some of the things that I got into Pirates, but I'm pretty good at knowing where Eddie's lines are.
Fair enough.
So.
R.I.P. rabbits. But no, it wasn't. It wasn't like anything terribly line crossing. It was just a huge. You'll see. You'll know. You'll especially know, Dixie. But I'm sure the audience at home will know too. Speaking of which, they've come to watch us play some Pugmire, so let's get into it, shall we? We're going to begin our adventure, which is titled A Spicy Voyage.
Ooh.
Recently, yeah, fancy, right? Recently, you have acquired your own ship due to a card game that was played by a friend and crewmate of yours by the name of Barclay Mutt. He managed to beat a rather inebriated and wealthy noble in several games of cards, and by dumb luck has won you a ship. As you have all worked together on a crew before, the opportunity to take control of your own destinies and seek adventure on the Acid Sea is too great to pass up. And you all have known Barclay well enough to know that he's barely a pup, and probably he's one of those types that probably seems like he's never going to get past being a pup. He doesn't seem terribly interested in settling down or letting his energy lax. He's just go all the time, super excited, cares a lot about people, and super outgoing. And you know that the sea can be dangerous, and if nothing else, maybe he's going to need somebody to look out for him. But alas, you have a ship, and in fact, hanging out in the taverns at Waterdog Port, you have managed to acquire a contact that has a potential job for you. You met with a gentleman by the name of Wembley Wolfhound, who has informed you that he has a problem. There's a ship that was supposed to be making a very important delivery for his boss. It was meant to be in port a week ago. It has not arrived, and he's heard through some other sailors that were based out of Port Matthew that as they were passing an area known as as Big Reefs, a archipelago that's about a week sail to the southeast of Waterdog Port. This crew was passing, and they're pretty sure they saw the ship that was intended to be here near Big Reefs just before a big storm hit. So Wembley is looking for a crew who are willing to head out towards Big Reefs, look around, see if they can find out the fate of the ship, and if at all possible, retrieve the cargo so that it can be returned to his employer, the infamous and powerful artisan Morty Corgi.
Well, that sounds like a fun adventure.
He says, I'd be more than happy to supply you guys with some coins, for your trouble. And if you come across any plunder in the voyage, I wouldn't want any sort of a tax from it. That'd all be yours to keep. The only thing I really need is those boxes with the spices in them, because Mr. Corgi is very temperamental, And when he gets temperamental, sometimes he throws fire.
Well, friend, that sounds like a real good shake, and I think we can manage to make that happen for you.
Excellent. That's amazing. Sail safely, and just be aware that as you get near the islands, it's called big reefs for a reason. Sometimes the water gets a little choppy, so you're going to want to be careful. And if there's anything you guys need by the way of supplies, I'd be more than happy to help you guys get that facilitated. Otherwise, I should probably go and let the master know that I have, in fact, acquired a crew to look into the missing supplies, because, like I said, he's getting a little bit impatient. There's important stuff on that shipment. Don't mess with the crates.
Is there anything we need to know about the crates before we retrieve them?
Well, I really don't know. I'm not 100% sure what's in them. I know that some of them have herbs, spices, cooking supplies, things along those lines, as well as stuff that the master uses in his experiments. But I also do know that at least one of them contains a very dangerous herb, and he reaches into his pocket and pulls out like a scroll, looks at it and says, called cocoa, that is very harmful to dogs. So any of the dogs on your crew might want to make sure that they do not eat the cocoa.
My heckles raised.
Good. Make you real sick. Poisons.
Yeah. How well equipped is our new ship? Like, is there anything that we are totally missing that we can get off of this guy?
Your new ship, it has come fully stocked. One of you or many of you may want to write down the game traits of your ship. Your ship has a hull score of 18, a seaworthiness score of 100, and a speed of 100. And seaworthiness sort of reflects not only the current, for lack of a better term, like stamina point or hit point state of your ship, right? The health of your ship, but it also reflects things like the state of your supplies. Okay. So for example, if something were to happen that were to poison the food on your ship, that would be reflected as seaworthiness loss. Okay. Your maximum seaworthiness of your ship is 100. So right now it's fully stocked, and you have no, really not much room to add. You could always add more supply stuff, but you don't have a whole lot of room for it at this point. Especially if you plan on, bringing along any additional cargo or things along those lines. Okay. Now, the other trait of your ship that has not yet fully been assigned is you have 2 slots worth of artillery that you may add to your ship. There is a shop locally that Wembley does have a connection with that can help you outfit your ship. Now, the way that you're going to want to decide how to tackle this is going to partially depend on what crew members are going to assume which positions on the ship. Because there is mundane artillery and there is also magical artillery. However, the magical artillery does require a spellcaster to use, whereas the mundane artillery can basically be used by anybody. And so what Wembley recommends is, why don't you all head to your ship, look over the writ that I've given you to make sure everything's in order. I'll go have them get ready at the shop for you to decide what sort of weaponry you might want to pick up. And then once you've got that all sorted out, we can go shopping.
Sounds like a plan. What is the name of our ship?
Your ship has not been christened yet.
Also, who's our captain?
That has not been decided yet. Pirate ships are like the captain of a pirate ship decided by a democratic process.
I am asking in character, which one of us is captain?
Not me. I don't want to talk to any more dogs.
Hey.
You're fine. This one talks too much.
Rough. Okay, so
Barkley runs up. I think I'll follow whoever wants to be captain. I'm really happy that we have anybody that's willing to lead. I'm just glad that I don't have to do it because that's kind of scary.
Okay.
That one's not fine.
I mean, Brandy is definitely a talker, but also more of a sneaky person. So I feel like maybe somebody with a little more charisma, maybe a shiny bird. Is that
me? I'm just the storyteller, but if you want.
Well, from what I've seen on ships before, I think that maybe we need to fill a couple of positions. It's important for us to determine who's going to be the captain, and if we're going to have a quartermaster, and who's going to be the sailing master, and who's going to handle the weapons, and if we're going to have a medic.
I mean, I really like guns, you guys. really, like it's right there in my. So if we want to get big guns, I'm volunteering for that.
I would probably be most useful as a medic.
Okay.
Wonderful.
All right, so we have a volunteer for a weapons master or gunner. So you might want to write down that you're the gunner.
Yes.
And so a medic. We're going to go with the medic route. Excellent. The most pertinent roles that will need to be filled beyond that is obviously all crews need a captain. And a first mate or quartermaster would definitely be advisable. And each of these roles will give you some extra special abilities that you're able to do once the ship is at sea.
Since this is a new feature to the game, is there any trait that's particularly useful to captaining?
Well, a couple of things. Captains get to make the intelligence saving throws for the ship, and they get to make they use their intelligence modifier to make initiative checks.
Jack doesn't have a great intelligence modifier. He's clever enough, but his mind just wanders a lot. He doesn't play chess. He can play cards.
Samesies.
Now, the first mate of the ship handles those things if the captain is indisposed, but otherwise handles charisma saving throws for the ship.
I have a fairly good charisma saving throw.
So to give you kind of a basic idea of the way that ships are constructed, your ship is a character, part of your crew. And it's almost like a Gestalt character. The ability scores of the ship are determined by who is sitting in what position. And then you can, depending on how things go, you can sometimes abandon your post during a combat or something along those lines, which has benefits and drawbacks. But it's designed to allow everyone to work sort of cooperatively. As the gunner, by the way, you will be responsible for the dexterity saving throws of the ship.
Nailed it. So good at that.
All of the ranged attack rolls that the ship makes. So.
That's awesome.
So my character looks at Miss Ginger and Jack and says, "You know what? I'll be in charge if you want, as long as one of you does all the talking."
Perfect.
I don't talk to people. I don't like it. I don't like people. You know me.
Excellent. And so that will place it's Vashti, right? Is the
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna mess up so many pronunciations today. Vashti will be in charge of the initiative rolls, but also in charge of determining the course of action during a combat situation or a combat-like situation. So you'll ultimately decide. You can certainly discuss that as a crew, but you'll ultimately decide what to do. And crew members may or may not choose to abandon their post and do what they want to do during that time.
Jack immediately sings the ballad of Captain Vashti.
I go, woo! The whole time you do it.
It's a very short ballad as...
Right. We'll build on it. We'll workshop it as we go.
I just put my entire face in my paw. I'm just like, what have I done?
Excellent. And so the ship's medic is responsible, by the way, for the wisdom saving throws. And that will also allow you to, you have a special ability that will allow you to heal stamina points for everyone that's actively on board that you can use a limited number of times. Lastly, that brings us, we've got Quartermaster and Sailing Master are the other two sort of big important ones. Quartermaster is responsible for the supplies and the distribution thereof, and the Sailing Master steers the ship.
Jack's good with wisdom and charisma. And perhaps convincing someone he's good at something he's not. So,
so would Miss Ginger prefer either of those positions? And Barkley is willing to be wherever you want to put him. He's happy to just be a boatswain. Just run around swabbing.
Wait, it's Quartermaster and First Mate the same thing?
No.
What you said earlier? Oh, well, we still need a First Mate then.
I thought, I believe that Jack was going to take the First Mate position, correct?
I've got a good charisma save, and I'm happy to shield my captain from all social interactions.
Sounds like you're in.
So all of the absolutely necessary positions besides Sailing Master are filled. You can also have someone work double duty, but once they take on a second duty, they don't get any of the benefits of only having one position on the crew.
Do you mind taking over Sailing Master?
What was that, Miss Ginger?
What does Sailing Master require?
They handle the dex or the strength saving throws and attack rolls in the event that the ship rams another ship.
Oh, well, if we feel like losing, I can take that job.
Maybe we should have our friend Barkley do that.
Barkley is promoted.
I can do it. I'm real strong.
Is he though?
For being like a puppy, you've seen him do some ridiculous stuff.
Okay.
Like moving huge boxes that 3 or 4 other crew members have struggled with, like by himself. He seems to be stronger than he realizes that he is, too.
Well, congratulations, young friend. You've got a bigger hat coming your way.
That's amazing. It's the best day ever. Aside from maybe the day that I actually won the ship.
Oh, right. We only have a ship because of him. I guess we should be nice.
I want to ruffle his little fluffy ears.
He kind of leans into it a little bit.
Aww.
His leg starts going a little. So that leaves the Quartermaster is Constitution saving throws. Otherwise, you could go into... You don't use magic, is that correct, Miss Ginger?
No.
Yeah, so the other option would be an entertainer.
I can do that.
Okay. And those handle the wisdom saving throws. So just so that we're aware, we're going forward without a dedicated quartermaster. It doesn't prevent you from sailing, but you won't have any of the benefits of having a dedicated quartermaster.
That's fine. We can figure it out ourselves. We know each other.
Beautiful. And so that means that the gunner, the captain, and the first mate, at the very least, perhaps the entire crew, should confer a little bit on what you're going to want to do in terms of your weaponry.
I think we need some really big guns.
The options that you have with the amount of artillery that you have to spend would be, let's see here. So you could get 2 ballista, up to 2 ballista. They cost 1 artillery each. which fire big, nasty crossbow bolts at your opponents. You could afford to add catapults, which cost 1 each. Fun for lobbing things like, flaming barrels at your opponents. Or there are 6-pounder cannons, which cost 1 artillery each.
Okay, and we have 2 slots.
2 artillery slots. Now, you should all be aware that gunpowder-based weaponry can cause what's known as gunpowder panic when it goes off, because most people are not used to massive explosions going off right near them.
Dogs and cats don't like loud bangs.
Speak for yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I think Brandy might love that.
Yeah. It's part of my class feature that I'm immune to all fear from big explosions. So,
Yes.
just saying.
And I believe that you may actually have a slight benefit to the rest of the crew because you have a gun dog in that position, in the gunner position. So I just need to look that up to find out for sure. But there is still a possibility of gunpowder panic from everybody who's not a gun dog, basically.
Yeah, so do we want to go ahead and do maybe a cannon and either a ballista or a catapult? Feels like.
Let's do a cannon and a ballista because I just watched Game of Thrones.
All right. Sounds good.
Giant ship crossbows seem cool right now.
You got it, boss.
Fair enough. All right, go ahead and make note of those. Just so that you're aware, I will send you the stats for those through our chat real quick here. As soon as I dig them back up, because like a genius, I scrolled away from them. Yeah, so at that point, you have assigned everything. The last thing that you need to do before you hit the open sea is confer a little bit about what your crew is going to stand for. What are your ship's articles? These usually function similar to your personality traits. It's usually, it's often two yeses and a no, right? 2 things that you will do and 1 thing you'll never do would be the way to kind of look at that. So what's your crew's morality? What are you about while you're adventuring on the Acid Sea? While you're figuring that out amongst yourselves, I will look for these weapon stats.
Sure. Who kind of wants to start maybe a little bit about what your character's moral structure is?
Well, I think we should be about exploration and knowledge.
I agree.
Miss Ginger is totally in favor of that.
Oh, I think you're muted, Josh.
Right. Whoops, there we are. Jack wants to collect every story possible. So yeah. Yeah, I definitely my only thing is I really don't like rich people who abuse their power. I came from the streets, but I was adopted by a gun dog. So, I owe a lot to them and to the people who helped save me when I was in trouble. So I never want to murder people. That's not something Brandy's about. Yeah, collecting things. Yeah.
Only in defense.
Yes, if absolutely necessary.
All right, so you have your collect knowledge, explore, and kill only in defense. Is that your ship's articles?
Feels pretty solid.
That sounds good, yeah.
Sounds like a great set of ship's articles.
We're a moral pirate crew.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I guess you need to, what are you going to name your ship?
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Jack is our poet.
We'll call it the Barclay's Gambit.
Yeah! Our boy! Ruffle his ears again.
Wow, that's so cool. I've never had nothing named after me before. Thanks.
Your name will go down in legend.
Or to the bottom of the Acid Sea.
Both, maybe.
Well, I guess someone had to say
exclusive.
it.
Excellent. And in the Zoom chat, I put the ballista catapult, right? That was what you went with?
Yes.
Well, no, we went with ballista and cannon.
Yeah.
Oh, was it ballistic cannon? Sorry,
Yes.
I'll add you a 6-pounder.
'Cause
So now you can look.
wanted a
Now you
big
can
gun.
look what you didn't pick and weep.
And particularly foolish crew members. Wait, we haven't watched
Yes.
crew members? Well, I have
Nope, you
so
wanted
many
a cannon.
regrets.
Okay, well, having said all that, it takes very little time actually to get the artillery installed. A group of dogs kind of run up and just, nail things into place and ratchet a couple things and run off. Your ship, all the ships basically that spend any actual time on the Acid Sea, are constructed with plastic hulls. And this is to help prevent erosion from the acidic and polluted waters of the Acid Sea. So, but the top deck is still, largely wooden. And beneath that plastic hull, there's a wood superstructure. So they're able to attach everything through that. And
That's a gradual process, right? You don't like just jump in the water and start.
no, it's
Just double check it.
yeah, it's not that acidic.
Right.
But it will slowly sort of eat away at the hull. Even of your plastic hulled boat,
Okay.
you only have so long before it starts eating holes in the hull. So the way that's basically handled is as you're trekking throughout the sea, there will be a series of checks that we'll make, just here and there, just to kind of see how your ship's holding up. Any other business before you leave port?
No. Let's do it. First adventure. I'm very excited.
Let's get out of this.
Sweet.
Excellent. So you embark from Waterdog Port, headed in the direction of Big Reefs, and you are provided by Wembley with a map, which I do believe. Let's see here.
This cannon can fire out to 1,600 feet. That is amazing. Wow.
Did you all get a notification that there's a handout you can look at? Click on the little picture of you down in the corner, and go to handouts. You should be able to look at Treasure Map 1.
Treasure map 1.
Ooh,
Ooh, I see it. Yay.
we got a treasure
That's
map.
a basic idea of the map of Big Reefs itself. Where the little boat is marked on the map, that's basically where, roughly where the ship was last seen.
Okay.
And the ship, once again, in case I forgot to mention its name, is Fate's Wind. So you head out to sea and begin your sailing quest. Fortunately, the weather is pretty decent. Seems to be calm. No sign of any storms brewing in. And you have elected Barkley to be your sailing master, correct?
Yes.
That's right.
He's such a good boy.
Barkley is going to attempt to plot out your course. See how things go on that first day of sailing.
And they all died.
And they all died right away.
And we were lost forever. And that was the end.
Well, that was fun. I'll see y'all later.
Now you have 2 stanzas.
Exactly. No, it's not too bad. I've seen worse.
Okay.
Oh, nice. So Barkley got a critical natural 20 on his navigation check.
Oh.
He's able to find kind of a subsurface current and just catch the wind just right. And you start just zooming along, moving along a little bit faster than you kind of expected the ship would be able to do. and he's probably the most dumbfounded out of everyone on board. This has just occurred. Like, did I do right? I did good, right?
You're killing it, kid.
Awesome. And he's just kind of holding onto the wheel, steering, taking big whiffs of the sea air. And right near Waterdog Port, that first day of sailing, you can see a fair bit of nautical activity. Other ships going in and out. Waterdog Port is certainly one of the busiest ports in the known world, if not the busiest. So you've got ships coming in from Port Matthew, which is the sort of primary port city of the monarchies, and ships coming in from various sort of island communities. They're not, some of them are not exactly common knowledge. Some of them you have to spend some time at sea to learn a little bit about, but you've heard rumors of there being a number of islands to the south that have various kind of settlements. Some of them are virtual paradises, others are havens for bloodthirsty, scallywags and evil, bad people.
Ne'er-do-wells.
Not nice. Not good dogs at all.
Oh.
But theoretically, you're not sailing in that direction, so not directly anyway. So yeah, day one is kind of the last time you see other signs of civilization. Getting out into the second day of sailing, I would like to know which one of you would like to assume responsibility for the well-being of the ship that day.
Like cleaning it?
Like just be generally kind of in charge of making sure that everybody's work gets done and that the day moves along smoothly.
Well, it's the first day. I figure I should take my duties as captain.
Excellent. So you start sort of setting the tone in terms of, the chore order and what's kind of expected and what things are to be done that day.
I pay close attention to what she does.
Excellent. And
I don't. I'm cleaning my guns. All my big guns. I love them, and I have named them all. And that is what Brandy is doing.
You just see like a tail and a pair of legs sticking out of the back of the cannon. It's so big in here.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So as you're sort of giving the orders and getting everything set up for the day, we will have you make the daily maintenance checks of the ship. So each day, your ship will lose I need more windows, obviously. So each day, your ship with its plastic hull will lose a D4 worth of seaworthiness.
Ooh.
Okay.
And we're starting with 100, right?
You start with 100. So go ahead and give me that D4 check if you don't mind.
Uh-oh. 3.
Excellent.
That's a 97. We're doing okay.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And now if you do have a quartermaster, I believe you don't have a dedicated quartermaster, so it doesn't matter. Quartermasters can help prevent that loss.
Yeah, cool.
But it happens. So as your seaworthiness degrades, you need to make what's called integrity checks. And what those integrity checks refer to, you roll D100 percentile die and try to get under your current seaworthiness.
Okay. Not hard to do right now, obviously. So, yeah, I rolled 70.
Excellent. So you experience, as you're sailing along on kind of going into that second day, the chore schedule, you have basically the normal growing pains you would sort of assume for operating as a new crew without kind of the other people that you were used to on the other ship that you'd worked on. All told, it goes pretty smoothly. The degradation that you experience on the ship is really just hull loss from being in the acid sea. Nothing special or spectacular happens of note, at least yet. And as we are about an hour into our play, I think let's go ahead and take, you guys want to take a 5-minute, or do you want to press forward before we take a little break?
I'm happy to press forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can keep going right now.
All right, let's press forward.
Get some action going.
You're continuing with the cleaning of the guns and the maintenance of the ship and moving forth. What are our let's see. What are Miss Ginger and is it Viali?
Viali, yeah.
Viali. What are Miss Ginger and Viali doing on the ship as the second day is sort of rolling around?
Miss Ginger is crawling all over every inch of the ship. She wants to get to know it very, very well. Where are the hidey holes? Where are the interesting places? And in between that, she will come up on deck and entertain the crew. She
Excellent.
has, let's give her a flute. Yeah, she has a flute that she's fairly good at playing.
All right. So you start, go ahead and give me a performance check, if you don't mind. So it'd be charisma.
Can I take the help action to give her advantage?
You absolutely can take the help action to give her advantage.
I strung my silver string mandolin.
Performances.
Oh, thank you, because I rolled a 3 and a 19. So you said that was a charisma?
Yes.
Total would be 21.
Excellent. Beautiful. You perform so wonderfully that you sort of unearth this new ability that you have as the ship's entertainer. You have an understanding that you can grant your fellow crew members an encouragement die. And that encouragement die is a D4. And when you give it to them, you use your action and you give it to everyone in the crew. And they all have to use it on their next D20 roll.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. It works separately from any other encouragement or inspiration die. And it supersedes them. So like if somebody else were to give encouragement with a class feature or something like that, or calling feature, excuse me, yours has to be used first. Yours goes off first. It's kind of like an instant thing.
Kind of hard.
They don't stack. So, but you have that ability. You realize that that's something that's within your capability to do.
Very cool.
And as I murder the pronunciation again,
Viali.
Viali. It's an I, Viali. Okay, I got you. What are you up to?
Viali has sort of like claimed a room as the medics area and has already set up sort of a makeshift lab so she can just like make different potions and experiment and just like get her full and complete science on in this ship.
Excellent. Why don't you go ahead and give me, let's see. It would be a no check of some kind. What are your no abilities? Your no skills, I should say.
No history and no arcana.
Give me a no arcana check, if you don't mind.
16.
Beautiful. So you're setting up your workspace. Everything's kind of going real smooth. You see that you have ample supplies here to address pretty much any reasonable illness or injury. You know, provided nobody like steps in front of a cannonball, you'll probably be all right.
Looking at you, Brandy.
Oh. Excuse me, that seemed really specific.
It's almost like
Once you bring cannons on board, sometimes they get loose.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sure I'll be coming to you. I'm like, I shot it too close to my ears again.
Are these supposed to do this? There's just blood running down the
I'm
side.
sorry, what did you say? What?
So you also discover the means by which to create a poultice or potion that will allow you to have each member of the crew heal up to 1d4 points of stamina damage. But you can only apply that after they've taken, it has to be in the scene after they've taken the damage.
Okay.
So you can't do it like mid-combat. You have to bring them back there, apply the poultice, so on and so forth. But it's a little way to heal quickly after a fight breaks out. And so we've got familiarizing, some chore breakdowns, gun cleaning, and a song. Sounds like a beautiful first day. On day 2, since you were so eager to clean them guns out, why don't we have Brandy make the checks for the day, the maintenance.
All right.
For the day.
Sweet. Okay.
So it starts off with a D4.
D4. Okay.
To see if you've lost any, or see how much seaworthiness you've lost.
I rolled a 1. Nice.
Excellent. So you only lose
Nailing
one
it.
seaworthiness.
Okay.
Fairly calm waters and very little difficulties arriving just from the basics of being on the acid sea. So that's nice to know. Go ahead and give me an integrity check too, if you don't mind. So that's a D100 percentile.
Okay.
You want to get under a 96 right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I imagine Brandy is extremely like acrobatic, so I'm just flying all over the ship. I have the traverse skill, so I think I'm just climbing up and down things and tying things off and
running around in the rigging and.
Yep. Okay. 9%.
Oh yeah, you are good to go. So as the third day sort of approaches, right around dawn, paint me a picture. What's it look like on the deck of Barclay's Gambit?
So I am 100% up in that crow's nest, like, on top of everything. Just observing, hanging my head out the side of the crow's nest, my fluffy golden ears in the wind.
Excellent.
That's what I'm doing.
Miss Ginger is probably slinking around on deck.
Beautiful. Just kind of taking in the space, watching the sunrise. Mm-hmm. Excellent. How about Jack?
Jack is keeping the crew's spirits up by telling them tales of the ancient old one's prophet, Jimmy Buffet. Yes, he speaks, of course, of the lost Margarita Kingdom, which will someday rise again when the sacred lost shaker of salt is returned.
Wow.
Wow.
I am half listening to Silverjack and half trying to read a book quietly, but I'm getting distracted by these stories.
I mean, it's quite a tale, so I could understand the distraction. And the alley, right?
Veely is she's left like little bits of fluff everywhere, like near every like gun and weapon for Brandy to stuff in his ears and funning up the cannon and like deafening him, because like at this point Veely's used to it. And
I'm the only one who's visited you every single day.
Like at this point, Veely is just like left bits of fluff everywhere that she thinks Brandy will go to be like, put this in your ears before you fire off cannons, and then maybe your ears won't bleed.
What?
she got a little distracted by the Jimmy Buffett story when they talked about the lost shaker of salt. But then when it got too much about the old one, she was like, I'm not into this anymore. And she went on to experiment some more.
You've lost my
Scholars believe it. The scholars believe it's pronounced buffet.
Buffet, sorry.
It's the ultimate fetch quest.
Precisely. So as you're hanging out in the crow's nest, Brandy,
Heck yeah.
why don't you go ahead and give me a wisdom check? You can apply your notice.
Perfect. Okay, so that means I get to add my proficiency and then my wisdom modifier to my roll, correct?
Yep. And since you have been, stated that you're kind of really trying to take in your surroundings, I'm going to go ahead and grant you advantage on this check.
Yay! Okay, let's see. Okay, so that'll be a 14 total.
Beautiful. So as you're kind of climbing around the rigging, and then you sit up on the crow's nest, and just as you see the sun sort of clearing the eastern sky, underneath it, you see just kind of a wisp of something, and you're kind of tracking it along. Maybe it's a fog, maybe it's maybe it's a reflection from something, you're not sure. But you track it as it moves all the way kind of along the boat and past the boat. And looking down to the southwest, you see another boat start to sort of arc, kind of come up over the horizon line.
Okay, I give 3 sharp warning barks.
Excellent.
To everyone below. And then go, ship! Ship in the distance! And I point.
I go to look at the ship.
Play an ominous riff.
Bam, bam,
As you all sort of look over, you can make out the ship now that it's been pointed out to you. And it becomes very clear very quickly that the ship has 2 front-facing ballista. And you can see them being sort of drawn back.
Oh, no.
You're loading them. So why don't we go ahead and have the captain roll initiative?
Should I do my int modifier for this, right?
Yes, you use your intelligence modifier, and I believe as you are a dedicated captain, you gain advantage on that check.
Cool. That's not bad either way. 21.
Excellent.
Rolled a 17 and a 19, so.
Beautiful. I will roll for the others in just a moment. If you zoom out a bit on your screens,
Oh gosh.
you should see the your friends that are down there to the south.
That's a dangerous looking ship.
I want those cannons.
Are our artillery, are they front mounted or side mounted?
Your artillery
Yeah.
are front mounted, and they're on they're each on a 180-degree arc swivel.
Okay.
So you can turn the cannons all the way to the front, and you can turn the ballista can fire front and to the back of the ship.
Sounds good.
Eat.
They have a crow and they have a cat named Crow, so they're obviously chaotic evil.
Whoa. Obviously.
All right. Sorry, I would like everyone else You know what? Everyone else doesn't need to worry about making initiative rolls. We will only worry about any individual initiatives in the event that you decide to leave your post. At that point, we'll have you roll. I think that'll make things go a little smoother and faster, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to have Vashti. And you said you had gotten a 20. I'm sorry, a 20 what?
21.
21. Beautiful.
Best believe I'm gonna fire this cannon. Started off with a bang.
Just remember, wait until they fire first. We don't attack.
Yeah.
We should at least.
No, we don't
Like,
murder.
We're throwing them back, but they might think that we're hostile. We should.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. I'm holding like the Tinder stick.
All right. So that gives them certainly going second. All right, so the first action does belong to your ship. They are still a ways back from you, but have now pretty much completed the loading of their ballista.
Captain? They're definitely loading.
Are both of them manned too? Yeah, it looks like. I can tell there's like people.
Yes. All of their battle stations appear to be manned. They definitely, though you might be new to the Acid Sea, they definitely look like they are in a, boarding, planning to disable and board sort of a formation on their.
Okay, light them up.
Yeah. And I do so. Yeah. Fire
Earmuffs!
Wait, I miss thanks, Cat.
Yeah, just okay, sweet. Yeah, so I definitely want to shoot this cannon. So to do so.
So you're just gonna open up with the cannon, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Can I also hop into the other seat? The like ballista seat? Since we have two.
You can, but if you start, you would technically be abandoning your post.
Oh.
Not giving commands.
Can I man both?
You can only fire one at a turn. But yes, as long as you're like moving but between guns, you are manning your post.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I believe so. I have all the aptitudes to use everything.
Yes, you are
cool.
proficient with the weapons and so on and so forth. So you make the ranged attack rolls.
Be dexterity with my. Oh, I see. Roll.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd be rolling with a +5 if it's dexterity.
Yep.
Sounds right. Okay. Yay! Natural 20. Okay, so that's gonna be 25.
Yeah, you definitely
I'm
hit.
so excited.
Go ahead and roll the dice for your damage and then double the dice value.
3d10, jeez.
Yeah, it's not a small amount of damage.
Oh my gosh, yes. I rolled 2 10s and a 9.
All right, so 29.
I'm the goodest gun dog boy.
58 points of damage. Oh.
What?
All right, so you blast a very sizable hole through the front of their hull. You see the back of their ship go up in the air and like slam back down.
Got him.
And you hear like barking and like screeches and all manner of panicked noises from the various folk on the other ship. I just want to check real quick. Let's see.
It's going in the song.
Yes. Watch this be the only good thing I do this whole game.
You're a very good dog.
My tail starts wagging.
All right. Yeah, the only benefit actually that you get is you do have advantage if you're the dedicated gunner on your attack rolls.
Oh.
But it does not insulate anyone around you from gunpowder panic. So I need everyone around you to please make a charisma saving throw to see if you suffer.
As with my position, does that mean I make the charisma check for everyone? Or is that a different thing?
That's if something is targeting your ship.
Right. Okay, cool.
So this would... You know what? Why don't you make it for everybody?
Oh, God, pressure. Shit.
Sorry. I really packed the gunpowder. I put gunpowder.
That's an 8. I don't get any super advantage or anything like that.
You are the dedicated...
Does the medic, it says on the rules here, can help people? Can I do that?
Yes, absolutely. You can offer the help action.
So does that just give advantage?
Yes, that grants them advantage.
Oh,
There
I
you
redouble
go.
my efforts and roll even worse.
Oh no.
Even with your modifier, you're rolling like...
Are you adding your modifier to that?
Yeah, I am. I just rolled a natural 1 on the second roll. The first roll was a 3. Proving my dice honesty right off the bat.
Okay, well, so the bad news is that you are all
Sorry.
at present, apart from Brandy, deafened and scared.
Huh?
And that lasts for until you make a subsequent saving throw. So what'll happen is on their action, they are on the opposite ship's action, they're raising a white flag.
Oh.
Because you just did more than half their damage in one shot.
Yes.
They're like, no, so you may all make now an individual saving throw to see if you can shake yourself free of the gun.
We are so terrifying that we scare ourselves.
I'm looking back like with a bunch of cotton stuffed in my ears at everybody panicking on deck like,
Yeah, basically like everyone went, ah, and hit the deck.
Yeah. Rock cowering. We're all... I rolled a 14 on my saving throw.
Okay, I believe that is sufficient to get you by.
Considering that I have -1 charisma modifier, I'm okay with that.
Only a 10 for Veely.
Veely only got a 10, huh? You're like okay, but like still a little hyperventilating, you know? Still like, warn somebody before you. What'd Miss Ginger get?
I think Miss Ginger is still cowering. Until they get within rapier range, there's not much else she can do.
Okay. Did you make your follow-up saving throw, though?
No. What am I rolling?
It's charisma save.
Okay. Hey, that's a natural 20.
Beautiful. You break the gunpowder panic.
You're fine,
And,
yeah.
Jack?
Jack rolled a 7. I've not rolled above a 3 yet. I'm changing dice.
So
Silverjack
Jack's
is very scared of cannons.
like running around the back of the ship, like flapping his arms.
It's the end of the world.
Uh,
My lazy McConaughey Zen is broken.
oh.
I'm screaming in all kinds of accents, every accent I've ever heard in my life.
The ship starts, the opposing ship starts sailing in at about half speed, coming in closer. White flag masted.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to take any other actions, Captain, or are you going to wait for them to arrive?
I'm just gonna wait till they get in range so I can call across to them and be like, "Why are you attacking us?"
All right, that's your. Why are you attacking?
Like, we didn't want to do that. Hey, what are you doing sailing around attacking people?
I'm keeping my cannon trained on them.
Okay, just load another cannonball up front.
Just in
My
case.
crest is fully extended, betraying my fear.
Give me one more save, Jack.
That's more like it. That is a unnatural 20.
Excellent. You come out of it just as you see another cannonball go down the front of the cannon.
I'm whistling a happy song and loading in my cannonball.
Beautiful. So the captain says, I apologize. You'll have to forgive me. We've been out to sea now for several days. My men are hungry. We're tired.
You thought you'd just attack us instead of asking for help? I see you've got 3 cats of the monarchies on your ship. 2 dogs who are not good right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Not good. Not
like
good.
what are you doing?
Bad dog.
We're hungry and we need supplies, and this is how we get by.
This is how you get by all the time? You just attack people?
What would Jimmy Buffet do?
I mean, normally we don't actually have to attack that many people. You see, we're putting. Show them. They pull the bolt off of the first ballista, and basically unroll a large scroll that was tied around it.
Oh.
And says, well, you can't read it quite from where you're at, but he says, these were surrender terms that we were offering you. We were going to board and take some of your things, but we didn't realize that you had that on board.
My ears stick way up.
From a distance, that looks like a pleasure cruiser, I'll have you know.
Excuse me. She's a beautiful ship.
We're still
Sparkly's Gambit is a noble ship. I told you I didn't want to do any of the talking, Silverjack. Why am I talking?
Oh, sorry. I was still a bit ruffled from, we will trade you food for information.
They look at each other. That's fair.
I guess we'll whip out the map we have and see if they can tell us anything about where we're going.
Would you like to send a boarding party over?
Yes.
I'll always get one of them to come over here. One of them.
On second thought, why don't you come over here?
Our ship is a democracy.
Well, sure. Give us a minute. Bring it in. And they drop some oars and start like manually bringing the ship over close enough that they can run a plank over.
I do want to draw the pistol from my hip and just casually have it out, just in case they get any funny ideas.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's take a look and see who's going to come over. Yes. So their first mate comes over. The cat. And he's wearing the colors of House Rex. But his clothing is very tattered, shredded. Looks like there's been no real care applied to it in some time, which strikes probably all of you as a bit unusual. Cats of the monarchies tend to be very proud of their clothing and their appearance. So this does seem odd. He sets foot aboard and says, you wanted information.
We're headed.
Gonna look him up and down very disapprovingly.
He avoids eye contact with you specifically.
We're headed here. What can you tell us about from here to there?
Looks like some islands. Somebody drew a boat on your map.
Got anything food worthy?
We're looking for a ship called Fate's Winds. What do you know about it? Anything?
I've heard of this ship. It operates out of Dalmatian Cove,
Mm-hmm.
but I've not heard any news of it recently. It could be anywhere.
Could you tell me why your crew is sailing around looking and acting like this? Why don't you go back to port, recover, rest? You don't seem like you should be out to sea anymore, and frankly, your ship isn't going to do that well now that we've put a hole in the front.
Ahem.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, actually. I don't know how we're going to get to port at this point. We're not exactly welcome in the monarchies or in Waterdog Port.
Because you attack people?
It's because we do what we got to do to survive.
So do I, but I don't attack people and provoke generally.
Well, you see, we were going to... you know that your gunner shot us, right? Like, we didn't actually do anything yet. That would be preemptively attacking. Just...
You looked quite hostile. Bearing
Just
down on
throwing it
us,
out there.
loading. If you had been loading your weapons, we wouldn't have done it. Had you just sailed up.
We gave you a teachable moment. Now you know.
That you did. It's not a lesson I will soon forget at the hands of a bird.
I preen. Bob my head.
We are at your mercy, obviously. I can tell you that Big Reefs is fairly close.
Okay.
And if it was safe enough to sail up to, we would be sailing up to it now. As you get close to the shore line, it becomes extremely hazardous with rocks and coral. Usually anyone who wants to leave there alive sends a small boat in so that they can navigate the waters. Nobody docks in Big Reefs.
That's actually excellent information. We knew about the reefs, but no one had given us that piece.
Oh yeah, you're going to find shipwrecks all up and down the sides of that island.
Okay. Is there anything to resupply with on the island? Does anything grow there?
Plenty of natural, vegetation and lots of, fruit-bearing trees and whatnot. I mean, it's a nice environment. It's good. Going to be a good retirement for some, very brave or very stupid pirate someday. But people usually avoid it.
Okay. What say you, crew? Do we give them some supplies?
They can't learn their lesson if they starve.
That's true. I feel maybe a little bad, just like a tiny bit bad. I didn't realize what a kick that one. I'm looking appreciatively at my new best friend.
What did you name the cannon?
That's Charlie.
Okay.
Barkley says, "You're a really good shot."
That's the other one. Thanks, Barkley. We'll play around with them sometime. When we're not actually busy. And I look at Captain and I get a very serious look on my face. Yeah.
All right. Ginger, Silverjack?
I'm feeling charitable today.
Just enough.
Okay. Give them a couple days worth of rations so they can limp back to port. A couple days worth for the crew.
Plus, we can spread word of how badass we are.
Yeah, let everybody know not to mess with us.
What was the name of your ship again?
Barclay's Gambit.
That's right.
How much do you want to donate to them in seaworthiness?
We're at 96 right now, right? And there is, we checked to see if there were supplies at the islands. We could probably resupply a little bit there. So I don't know, 20?
But most they'd need 12 is 3 days to get back.
Or get 12 to get back?
Yeah, that's fair.
If they roll poorly.
12.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and mark down the 12 seaworthiness loss on your ship, and you give them enough supplies, like enough food to get by, some spare pieces of plastic sheeting to patch the enormous hole in their hull.
Sorry, it's not funny. Brandy laughs and then stops them every time.
You look over and there's just a soaked dog in the bottom of their boat with a bucket just shaking his fist at you.
This is the best.
I have to say, I really love this communal ship running system.
Yep.
So far. This is pretty damn awesome.
Thank you. I'm glad you dig it. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. Perhaps the next time you guys get into a fight, it'll last long enough to really showcase it.
Are you chastising us for being too good at being pirates?
Yeah.
No,
Excuse me. I have one job on this ship, and I am doing
just
it.
making a mental note that I have to buff up some encounters coming up. So on that note, you resume sailing once they've passed along and gotten their stuff, and you can all feel really wonderful about yourselves and gain another thing that I was going to introduce a little bit for those not familiar with Pugmire, which is fortune.
Fortune.
So at the beginning of the game, and Dixie can correct me if I mess this up because I'm not looking it up. I believe at the beginning of the game you start with 2 fortune in the fortune bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
And anybody in the group can pull from the fortune bowl. And when you use the fortune, you can use it to gain advantage on a check. And I believe you can use it for like some minor story alteration stuff, right? Like, wouldn't it be nice if we had a friend here? Here's a fortune to cover that. That kind of a mechanic for it.
Got it.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, you can get fortune if you fail on purpose or play a personality trait. There's all kinds of reasons the guide can add fortune. So. And
I'm going to throw one more piece in the bowl because that whole interaction was very good from everybody. So I'm impressed. I laughed. I cried. It's great. Now, if you are playing a cat and you specifically are awarded fortune for something that you individually did, you can elect to just keep that fortune in your fortune pile.
Yeah, dogs are better at community. But...
So much sense. I am so into that.
So cats can hoard their fortune, but
accurate.
I'm just a big old loyal dumb. Everybody have it.
I sing the ballad of One Shot Celeste.
Yeah.
Beautiful. To the tune of Margaritaville.
Yes.
So
that's just all my songs are.
I'm gonna start calling him One Shot Docs.
There you go.
Yes.
So you resume your sailing. Let's go ahead and let's give the honor of this integrity check and maintenance to Vieli, please. Vieli, right?
Yeah, really.
Vieli, I got it.
Finally said it.
It only took me like half the session. So let's have Vieli make that check. You did just have some random folk on board from who knows where, who knows what they were carrying. Might be some fleas on the crew that came over. You just don't know. So let's have our medic. First of all, make the D4 check for seaworthiness loss.
2.
Excellent. All right. So that brings your total now to you were at 96 minus 12. Somebody's tracking this, I hope, right?
82.
82. Excellent. And now go ahead and give me a percentile check, please, and see if you can get under
9.
Oh, yeah, you're good to go. nobody gets particularly ill. You don't find any exceptional difficulties. You're able to sail on. So with that, you arrive the following day and see the reefs off in the distance. And I believe if you zoom out, you should now see some rocky and difficult sailing terrain below you.
I do. Oh. Do we have a tiny boat on our boat?
You do not have a tiny boat on your boat.
No, we should have taken their tiny boat. Oh, well.
Do you know who has a tiny boat in her magic arsenal? Because it's me.
Yeah.
Oh! Tiny magic boat.
I can make a tiny boat that will hold up to 8 people.
That's rad.
So that is an option. You can drop anchor here and take the magic skiff in.
I mean, we are fewer than 8 hours away from the main island, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You can see the main island kind of poking up off in the distance.
But, I mean, so we're looking for a boat. So are there a bunch of just shipwrecks around here? Like, can we maybe see if this boat is just...
Go ahead and make a notice check if you don't mind. So
Yeah.
Wisdom, and then if you have notice, add your,
Yes.
you know the words I'm using.
Yes. Okay, so that will be another 14.
Excellent. So as you look around, you can see kind of the evidence that there have been shipwrecks here. There's nothing this far out in the reefs. There's nothing that would constitute like an actual shipwreck, but there's a piece of wood sticking out of a rock over there. like I mean, it looks like things have just gotten taken down here.
Got it.
Not enough left behind to be considered a wreck. If you went down to the surface or to the bottom, maybe, but there's nothing that's up here that's visible aside from bits of detritus here and there.
Well, do you all think it's worth our time investigating the island? I'm not sure how the crew could have made it over there with all their cargo and everything.
Maybe we should skirt around the islands first, see if we see anything, and then if not, we should probably assume that something may have washed up on shore.
All right.
Yeah, we have on the map where people think Fate's Wind went down. So I think we should try to stay far enough away that we can stay on our ship without damaging it and try to find that area.
Right. So yeah, so if we kind of skirt around until we get to that side, and then if we don't see anything, chances are it's washed up somewhere.
All right, pup, let's do a circuit.
So you're gonna make the full circle around that particular island?
Yes.
Well, yeah, around the area of the reefs in general, just without trying to get into the reefs.
Okay, so you want to do the entire archipelago as opposed to just diving into that one island?
Well, yeah, because we have on the map where it was last seen.
Right.
So we want to at least go to that spot.
Okay.
Even if we don't do the whole thing, let's at least go, all the way around once, halfway around.
And who do I have on wisdom checks for the boat in general? Gave those are the medic, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, that's me.
All right. So if you don't mind, please give us a wisdom with notice, since you're all sort of as a group looking out for these things.
Sure. 17.
As you're keeping an eye out, you can certainly see up along the coastline probably 4 or 5 remnants of ships that have washed up to shore that you can see from where you're at, sort of dotting the landscape. Seems like every ship that's ever come through this region has gotten washed into those reefs and eventually made the skeleton of it at least has made its way to the shore.
Okay. So yeah, so let's weigh anchor. Or drop anchor. I don't know what you do. Do you drop an anchor? Never been a captain before.
Sure. I've never been on a boat that wasn't a ferry, so I couldn't tell you. But
All right, here you go. We're going to drop the anchor.
You drop the anchor, and Barclay says, I'll stay on the ship, make sure everything stays safe.
I love it when they do what I was about to tell them to do without me having to tell them. It's the best. That's my favorite thing.
He sits down, and he's got a big old smile on his face. Be safe.
Okay. If we're going to take a break, can we do so now? Because I feel like before we do Magic's Gift to Shore is a good time. And
Seems
I would
good
like a drink.
spot.